What is going on, guys? Rewinds here, and in this video I'm going to be bringing you guys the full spoilers for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex manga chapter number 23. And man, I've been looking at some of the stuff that's been leaking, as it's been coming out page by page this month, and this chapter is pretty hype. I'm just going to tell you guys that up front. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to react to some of it as I go. And shout out to Nakimov over here for posting the actual pages and actually providing translations page to page as well. So let's have a look at what's going on this month. Initially, I actually do want to say, I thought the chapter spoilers were delayed to the 18th or the 19th because usually this guy Rai posts these spoilers earlier on, like at least some text spoilers and summary, but hey, we ended up getting the full chapter somehow beforehand on the 17th, so I'm not going to complain. So, part 1. This is the cover of chapter 23. It's a solo cover of Jura, and I've been seeing that this cover's gotten some mixed reception. Just like usual, though, Ikimoto does pretty good in terms of making the fit and the background blend in well. I think some people are just a little bit surprised by the pose that Jura has. A lot of people are saying it's very JoJo-like, so I know some people are going to like that, some people are not. Take it as you may. I think overall, not a bad cover. I do think Ikimoto's made some that are worse and some that are better. But unfortunately, I don't know if we have a title yet. I don't think we have a title for this chapter, at least not provided here by Nakimov. But let's talk about the actual pages. And if you are new to my channel, I will tell you guys, I'm not going to click on the full image because Shueisha loves copywriting people for that. So this will probably be the best view you get, but we will talk about the full translations. And I do want to also say that some of these are going to be a little bit lower quality in terms of scans because it's just initially what we're getting for now. So, page 1, side text says, Mitsuki fighting alone wiped out Clawgrime. Then on Boruto's orders, Konohamaru joins up with him. Konohamaru says, Mitsuki, are you okay? Mitsuki says, Konohamaru-sensei. And as you can see by the image, Mitsuki's in sage mode to take these Clawgrime out, but he did indeed get the job done. So, shout out Mitsuki for that. Page number 2 over here, we have Konohamaru saying, I see. Araya went after Ryu's thorn soul. Mitsuki says, yeah, I'm heading to where Shinki was turned into a tree. Konohamaru says, what happened to Yodo is truly unfortunate, but the divine tree humans are foes that demand that level of resolve. She'd be happy too that we succeeded in retrieving the thorn soul. So that's that part. Let me actually see if there's a little more. This actually does confirm, though, of course, that Yodo is dead, at least unless some crazy BS happens, but that does confirm that. So RIP to Yodo. Page 3, Konohamaru says, I was on the verge of being killed by Matsuri. Then Boruto rushed in and saved me, and then Jura appeared, most likely to kill Boruto. Eliminating Boruto to them is apparently even more important than the Thorn Souls, which are their comrades' lives. Mitsuki says, Sensei, let's back up Boruto and take down Jura. Konohamaru says, no, we can't. Our mission is strictly the retrieval of the Thorn Souls. Boruto understands that too. I was able to escape smoothly because you were keeping Jura distracted. Or I think he means because Boruto was keeping Jura distracted. Mitsuki says, but still. This is a good, character stand by Konohamaru here because this is what a sensei should be doing, making, the smarter decision here in this case, and not, putting him and a member of his team in a situation where clearly they're going to be outmatched power-wise. So it's good that they stick to the plan there. Over here, more dialogue continues. Konohamaru says, listen, Mitsuki, our destination is the place where we first regrouped with Araya and the others. We're heading there. Mitsuki says, huh? Konohamaru says, those were Boruto's orders. Seems like he has some kind of plan. For now, we've got no choice but to trust him. So that's that. Then we get back to the battle, where Boruto now has a wound, if you look closely there, on his side of his left abdomen area. Boruto says, damn it. It missed a vital spot, but the wound is deep. The damage is worse than I thought. So Jura has now landed a big blow on Boruto here. It's not looking as good for Boruto in this situation. Page 6. Jura says, as I thought. My tailed beast ball is... The obvious wind-up motion is the biggest drawback. Sniping from extreme range using the rifle type, or maybe close range fire using the scatter type, might be relatively effective against opponents like this. So Jura's really just out here testing his arsenal, it feels like. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting here from Jura. And it's kind of crazy that he has like that sniper, kind of attack anyway with the tail beast ball. And he has like a close range rifle, scatter type, which is, I guess, like a shotgun-esque. So just shows you Jura's moveset is just expanding, and he's kind of just testing stuff out at this point. So it shows you he's definitely outmatching Boruto. Page 7 over here, an action page. Seems like he's taking a shot at Boruto if we look at the bottom part of the panel there. And probably just a test shot again. Page 8, Boruto seems to just be ultimately just dodging around, but he does throw a kunai at him at one point, which doesn't really seem to do much. But we continue on. Pages 9 and 10, the action does continue a little bit more. It seems like, let me try looking closer at this. In this one, it does seem like Boruto is trying to use a sword, but he does lose his sword for at least a second. He drops it in that second page there, and Jura does seem like he just landed another blow. Page 11. It seems like we're continuing on, but this actually is a huge moment. Boruto actually lands a very major blow on Jura, and on a lot of opponents this would be, battle changing or tide changing. But this is Jura, and we know they're building him up to be this unbeatable guy right now in the story. So that's not where this is going to lead. But Boruto does pretty much chop off part of his leg over here with the sword. Pretty hype stuff, honestly. I can't lie. When I saw that one at first, I was really surprised to see that, because I thought that this chapter was going to be a lot more one-sided. But Boruto's putting in work. Can't lie. Page 12. He just basically tells Boruto, Jura says, oh, well done. Just the way this is coming off, it's like a little surprise, but maybe a little bit monotone as well from him. Like Jura's not super worried. And then page 13, Boruto saying, damn, when it comes to raw power, I'm at a disadvantage. We move on to page 14, and this is from the sneak peek image that we got from the official leaks. And that was Boruto using purple lightning at one point on Jura, and Jura was a little bit surprised based off that impression of it. Page 15, Boruto's panting, and Jura says, your movements have gotten pretty sluggish, Otsutsuki Boruto, and Boruto's just still panting. So at this point of the battle, we're almost halfway through the chapter, and the situation is just feeling like it's going to be pretty tough for Boruto to really continue on at this rate going forward, especially because Jura hasn't really even shown a sign of slowing down, despite even that leg being chopped off. Page 16. Jura says, rather than clumsily trying to hit him with the tail beast ball, beating him to death might be quicker. We shift over to Konohamaru and Mitsuki, where Konohamaru says, we're here. This is the place Boruto designated. Mitsuki says, what exactly is here? Boruto says, beats me. Don't ask me about this. Page 17. Seems like he's basically just beating down on Boruto at this point. Ends up landing some hits. Boruto gets sent flying. Page 18. The beatdown continues. Jura's using his tail beast bomb again. And we do get a explosion to stop, to end off page 18. Continuing on. Page 19. We have, a little bit of smoke clearing up from that explosion. Boruto does make it out of there, only for Jura to appear behind him, and seemed like Boruto's going to get hit again by Jura here. So really, we got a couple pages of Boruto just being smacked around by Jura here. But in that instance, Boruto actually counters here with his sword, and it seems like the sword takes a little bit of a crack in that moment. Or maybe it was already chipped, but it does seem like it doesn't really do much, ultimately, is the thing. So, moving on now to page 21. More of the action continues. Boruto gets kicked away, pretty much just smashed into the ground. Again, the beatdown is just continuing on. Kashin Koji over here on page 22 is absolutely losing it. Ada's saying it's no use anymore. I can't watch this. If this keeps up, Boruto, he'll really be killed. And if you look at the panel, Koji is just holding his head right now as if, he's just really going through it. This is like the worst possible outcome that could be going on. But then page 23 hits, where a big reveal happens. Ada says, "Hey, Koji, are you even listening? Say something already." And then Koji says, "Ada, just be quiet for a moment. It's coming. The update." And Ada says, "What?" And then page 24, we actually see the presence technique shown a little bit, or the 10 directions, I think is the other name for it. And we see that Koji's looking at some potential new possibilities. And one of them shows Jura holding his eye, and his right eye in particular. And that is something that we actually do see coming up. Again, I wish it was a little bit of a higher quality scan so I could look a little bit more closely at the other ones. But for now, we'll just, roll with that. Page 25, Koji says, "This is." Ada says, "Hey, what is this? What do you mean something's coming?" But the main part of everything here that Koji's seeing in this vision is definitely that part where Jura's just holding that right eye. But he doesn't look, worried or stunned or anything. If anything, he looks upset in that picture. Then we have page 26. Jura's walking up to Boruto's on the ground. He says, "Still breathing, huh? Tougher than I expected. As expected of an Otsutsuki, I suppose. But even after losing consciousness, he still won't let go of his master's blade." That's a moment I really, really like that they have over here, because that just shows you how much it really means to Boruto deep down. Sasuke's blade right there. So really cool instance right there. Page 27. Jura says, "In honor of that extraordinary spirit, Otsutsuki Boruto, at least make it quick. I'll blow you away." So this is Jura pretty much rising up right now to deal this finishing blow on Boruto. And Boruto is pretty much out of it, so this seems like a bad moment. But right then, probably the most hype part of the chapter happens. Jura's right eye gets stabbed from behind, and in the second page right here, we see Kawaki standing right behind him, pretty much impaling Jura's right eye with a rod. And that, I think, is so far where the chapter has peaked. But let's see. Actually, going forward from page 30 and on, I haven't seen anything yet. So look at that. Awesome panel. Maybe this will be my thumbnail, honestly. But Kawaki says, "Yeah, he really is a monster. Guess something like this won't kill him." But Kawaki is here, back in action, more than likely so with his limiters removed. And I'm really excited to see this potential team up we're going to get coming up. I think we're either going to get this team up of Boruto and Kawaki, or we're just going to get a really, really big tease of what's to come, and then Jura's just going to dip. But we'll see. Page 31, back to Ada and Koji. Ada says, "Huh? Kawaki? Wait, what's going on? Koji?" Koji says, "A different update. It's been about 6 days since the last update." So this is interesting because we haven't really known in the past, like, if Koji can necessarily, get these updates at will, like anytime he wants. Like, I guess it's not like an internet drive where Koji can just activate the ability and keep searching it. Rather, it seems like it's one of those abilities where updates just kind of come as things change. So in this vision, it seems like we do have a little bit of more stuff shown regarding even Sarada and Hidari potentially. And if you look at that, that's on the bottom right. But Kawaki being in this vision now seems to be a new thing, at least from Koji's perspective. Page 32. Koji says Kawaki joining in. This is a development I've never seen before. That Boruto, in just these past few days, he must have told Kawaki something, right? Then we cut to Konohamaru, who says, Mitsuki, what's wrong? And hey, that's cool because it shows you Boruto's side work that we got all the way, maybe at this point, like 7-8 chapters ago, or like 6 chapters ago, when he talked to Kawaki after that interrogation escape he had. It seems like that's paid off and led to a development that Koji didn't foresee, but in a good way. Page 35. Did we miss one? Let me see. For whatever reason, guys, I don't think we have 33 and 34. Let me look for it real quick. Okay, so I think what's happening is Nakimov may have mistyped a couple of the page numbers, so I think we should be good. Maybe this is 33, actually. Mitsuki says, no. Why did Boruto choose this location? Maybe he left that mark here somewhere. Konohamaru says, that's space-time transportation? Delta says, ah, there they are, right here. Konohamaru, Mitsuki, and Sarada. Looks like all 3 of them are safe. So it seems like Delta's the one who came to the rescue here. Boruto must have just had that idea that Kawaki might pull up in this one, and it must have just been a gamble he took, and it seems like Delta was brought with him as more backup. Page 36, Konohamaru and Mitsuki say, Delta? And then we have a shot again of Kawaki standing right on top of Jura. Pretty cool stuff, but Jura seems like he's trying to attack Kawaki, but Kawaki does disappear. And then we have this next part over here. This is the actual page 35 now. Kawaki pretty much sends a couple of rods through Jura here. So Kawaki starts off hot with an advantage here in this battle. Then we have page 36 and 37. Boruto says, ugh. It seems like there's an explosion of some sort going on. This could be Jura trying to launch that Tail Beast bomb attack at Kawaki possibly. And maybe Boruto's just kind of feeling like the ripple effects of it because he's on the ground. But Kawaki did impale Jura with the rods, so we did just get that. Ultimately, we should be wrapping up here with another, I want to say, 3 pages, maybe 4. So I'm going to add that on as soon as Nakimov ends up dropping those soon. Alright, so I think we have the final 2 pages, or at least what I think the final 2 pages are. Maybe there's one more, but if one more ends up coming out, I'll probably post a comment about it in the comments below, so look out for that, about whatever it may have for information. But for now, we have page 38, which has Kawaki saying, hey, you damn brother, how long are you going to lie there? Boruto says, tch, you're the one lagging behind, dumbass. Jura says, Kawaki, what's going on? This power is on a completely different level from before. Kawaki says, clench your teeth and hang in there, Boruto. If you go berserk or lose control, I'll kill you right here on the spot. So that's the terms of the partnership coming up here between Boruto and Kawaki, it seems. And page 39, and why I think this might be the last one is because it has a side text here for the end, and usually those are the ones where the chapter ends, but hopefully I'm right about that. Boruto says, don't worry about it. Go for it. Kawaki says, bring it, damn bastard. Side text says, the blade that carves open fate swings only once. Even if one side breaks, the other strikes without pause. So pretty much, I think next chapter is gonna be amazing when it comes to action. This chapter itself, just simply off of leaks, is really fire in my opinion. We had a good mix of, stuff developing story-wise too, especially with Koji's realization. Had Konohamaru and Mitsuki in the chapter a little bit getting away. We had like the moment where Boruto was actually struggling in this fight against Jura, and seemed like everything was doomed. And then Kawaki made his grand entrance, and honestly, it's well deserved because Kawaki deserved a power up for a while now. Because before this, let's be honest, Kawaki was not stacking up to where Boruto was at level wise yet. Even though we know that's thanks to Amado, but Kawaki getting some shine he deserves, in my opinion, and should be really, really cool to see what happens now going forward in next month's chapter. So look forward to that. Let me refresh this real quick to see if another page possibly came out. I think, yeah, that's it, because maybe an earlier page was missed according to Nakimov here, but I think in general that's it. That's where the chapter ends. Next month should be a pretty fire team up in my opinion. I'm sure we're going to get a little bit of Kawaki fighting Jura on his own as well, but I do think we're going to progress into a tag team battle against Jura, and that should be really fun. So I'm excited for that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this month's spoilers as much as I did. Let me know what you think of everything in the comments below, but that's gonna be it for this one. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you guys are new. And as always, I hope you guys have a good day or night whenever you guys are watching this video. I'm Rewinds, and I'm out.